Hi, I'm Dr. Joseph Riggio. Welcome to another edition of Smoking with Joe. This time though, I'm smoking up at my brother's house. We're having a little barbecue for Independence Day here in the United States of America. Today I'm smoking something miraculous, which I'll talk to you about a little bit later, a gift from a friend of mine from Italia. However, what I want to talk about today is this idea of independence. People think independence comes for free. They don't have to do anything for it. They show up in the world and they're granted the idea of freedom. They can do whatever they want because somehow or another they're entitled to it from birth. The reality is independence has a cost. Independence means you make some choices along the way about what's going to happen or what's not going to happen. And the choices you make determine whether or not you're free. However, there's a trick to this. The trick is that most people think they're free when they're not. They think that the situation they're in gives them a tremendous amount of freedom, when in fact what's actually going on is they're trapped by the system they're in. They're following the status quo. They're doing what they've been taught and what they've learned to do without regard for the idea of what it is they really want to do, that internal idea of who they are that they allow to spring forth and become present or not in the way they act in the world. And this is what independence for me really means. It's the idea that you're free from all of the conditioning up to this point in your life. That literally, as a moment appears in your life, as an opportunity emerges, you can make a choice about it which isn't connected to your past. You're free from all that conditioning, all that education. But think about it. Is that true of you? Or are you simply a product of your education? Have you been trained to think in an industrialized way, to be a good girl or a good boy, to do what you're told, to only ask questions when somebody calls on you after you raise your hand, to make sure that you do the kind of things that will cause you to be successful as you've been taught about what success is, or you're writing the rules yourself? Here's what I really want to say about today, about Independence Day, is in the United States of America, where I was privileged to be born and raised, what we think of as independence is the choice that what we call our founding fathers made, to free themselves of the tyranny at that point in time of being of the colonial power, of the people who were in charge, and instead take control of their own lives. And it meant a significant amount of discomfort. It meant a significant amount of economic upheaval. It meant that they didn't know what the future was going to hold, and they had to find a way to govern themselves from the very beginning. And for somebody in our day and time, somebody who's been trained in the common way of thinking in our day, in our age, what that means is that you're going to have to free yourself from that educational boundary, from that way of being trained in the past to be who you were supposed to be, so you could go to work in a factory, so you could put in your 9 to 5 and serve somebody else's intentions and needs. And mostly what you were taught is you were taught that the way to do this was to get a good education, to get a good job. But for me, what a job is a form of slavery. And I'm going to talk the next time we get together, if I can remember, about the idea of productivity and performance, which is attached to the idea of slavery and probably showed up the first time around the age of the slaves of Egypt building the pyramids, because for the Egyptians, productivity was a very important thing. So think about that as you enjoy the rest of your Independence Day. Once again, I'm Dr. Joseph Riggio, and today what I'm smoking is a Partagas P2. It's a wonderful cigar. It's actually from Cuba, and as I said, a friend of mine made a gift of this to me, and I'm enjoying this little bit of American contraband on the 4th of July here in New Jersey, just showing my independence from those ruling powers that want to be tyrannical. I tell them they should enjoy one themselves. If I had to guess on it, Mr. Obama may be smoking one of these babies right now in the Oval Office. Salute. Enjoy your 4th of July.